AEW Dynamite had a hell of a main event last night. It was awesome because it had two Death Riders go at it. You had the leader of the Death Riders, Jon Moxley, going against Claudio Castagnoli, who's basically been second in command ever since this whole team formed. And it was a hell of a match, man. It was technically sound. Hold for hold, punch for punch, maneuver for maneuver. And, of course, in AEW style fashion, they threw some blood and guts in there. I mean, Claudio Castagnoli made Jon Moxley bleed all over the ring. It was sick, man. You just don't see matches like this in WWE anymore. No botches, no silly crap, just professional wrestling. And this is really where the best wrestle, man. Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli, I mean, this is yet like another finger to WWE. These are two guys that were kind of like in the main event scene in WWE for a while, but never got to that next level. And they just proved that with each growing day that it was a mistake to let these guys go. These guys were putting on great matches week after week, day after day. And it's interesting, this match in particular, because Jon Moxley's been the leader of the Death Riders ever since he went on this crusade to make AEW a better place since late 2024. But he's been losing a lot of matches recently, as we all know, and Claudio Castagnoli just pinned him. It was a vicious uppercut to end the match, and it just further, sets Jon Moxley apart from the rest of the Death Riders. Yes, the Death Riders have been struggling as a whole lately, but Pac and Claudio Castagnoli and all these guys are really, building momentum. They're getting better with each growing week. Jon Moxley is getting weaker and weaker and weaker. He's submitted. He's been knocked out. I mean, this is not the Jon Moxley of old. This is somebody who's lost their confidence ever since he lost at All In to Hangman Adam Page in that Texas death match. So this story is slowly cooking, man. And I'm just like, every time I see the Death Riders, I'm like, is this the end? Are they finally going to turn on Moxley? I don't want it to happen, but it's got to happen for the progression of the story. Everybody wants this to happen. And of course, when Jon Moxley does make that face turn, he's really going to get a lot of fans invested in the storyline. I feel like people want a fresh Jon Moxley, the Jon Moxley of old who stood toe-to-toe and, stood for what's right instead of trying to control all the variables in the company and all these things. So I'm excited to see where the Death Riders storyline goes. But Claudio Castagnoli, I can see him taking over as the leader of the Death Riders, because Daniel Bryan even said it on, or Bryan Danielson even said it on commentary, is that Moxley was the leader because nobody could beat him. Well, Claudio just did, so he could be the new leader.